Hello everyone, welcome to part 5 of this installment of the series called Why Me? Why am I the victim? Why have all these things happened to me? Like why am I the one faced with all these grave problems? So in part 4, we ended by finding together that we are an entrepreneur no matter what we do, no matter what phase or state of life we find ourselves in. We are an entrepreneur because we are the ones who put ourselves on planet Earth to live out, execute, and realize all the dreams which we have in our higher realms. So now that we know that we are the entrepreneur, now that we do not have an external story affecting us in any ways, now that we know that we are the ones who created our own unique problem, we are the ones who made ourselves the victim, so that eventually we would realize our own secret source of liberation. Now that we are aware about all this, now is the time to build ourselves a personal brand. Now is the time to tap into our own uniqueness. Now is the time to actually give back to the world as well. Because now the quality of information, the quality of service, the quality of the hand that you extend is going to have a divine quality to it. Because it's coming from a merger of multiple dimensions of reality. So there is going to be little to no negative feedback involved in this. I don't mean that externally. I mean that there's going to be little to no negative projection of your own shadows in this, because that doesn't exist within this form of mental investigation. So now that you know you are the entrepreneur, how do you build your personal brand? You do this by not forgetting how you created the problem that you found yourself in. The why me, the question that you asked yourself, the problem that you found yourself in, which made you ask that question, that is the same path you have to follow. Why? Because you've done it so many times, you know it by heart. You've done it so many times that you could do it in your sleep. You've done it so many times and you've been hit so many times, you've had setbacks so many times that you're hardened in that path, that you know exactly how to do it again. And you know how to face those setbacks again. So that is the path that you choose. But this time you choose it in a creative way. Till now you were choosing it in a state of victimhood. Till now you're choosing it in a state of facing setbacks. Now you're going to do it in a creative endeavor. Now you're going to do it in a way that you propagate yourself as a personal brand. You propagate yourself as a complete soul person, as not an ego entity, as not a personality, but a soul entity. And now that you start propagating yourself, there is little to no, uh, how do you say, comparison or feeling of what somebody else thinks about it. Because you are so virgin within your own eyes that all these things seem extremely, they just don't touch you at all. They just don't come within your sphere of experience. They just don't come within your radar. You seem completely untainted by all of this. And this is the state where you can completely express yourself freely and not accumulate negative karma as well in the process. Why? Because you are expressing yourself within your own space of light, within your own race. You are expressing yourself within, let me say, the perimeter or the boundary of your own sunlight. Like, say, the sun shines in the center of our solar system. It is only expressing itself till, say, Pluto or the Kuiper belt, the belt that lies after Pluto and all the other asteroids. It's only expressing itself within its own territory. It's not interfering with anybody else. And once you kind of know this, once you kind of know these boundaries, there's no way of stepping on somebody else's foot while going ahead. So there is hardly any guilt as well of being successful, because a lot of people do have this, right? Like when they are successful in anything, they feel like they've probably stepped on somebody's toes, or they probably hurt someone along the way. This is a kind of process where you're going to go and be successful, but in a very clean way, in a way that there's very little to none of negative feedback that you're accumulating, negative karma that you're accumulating. So in a way, this I would like to call it a little bit more smoother than the traditional way of wanting to be successful, that is driven by an unconscious desire to be successful without exactly being aware of why you want to be successful in the first place. So in this process, building your personal brand, all you need to do is just follow the same process of how you were victimized. You just have to follow the same script. And the path is already laid for you. You've already done it once. You've already done it many times. So all you need to do is just follow that same path. I'd like to give an example to make this more clear. Now that I am starting my musical brand, or my personal brand, I have walked through my own story of why I was victimized, of why I felt like I am the only one with the problems that I have. Now that I've gone through this whole journey that I outlined over the last 4 installments, I know this journey very well. Now this journey is extremely unique to me. Nobody else has gone through it. I'm the only one who knows it. So navigating within this journey is my fish tank now. It's not a group fish tank anymore. And now this fish tank, you can call it as a kingdom as well, because you're the only one there. So now, how do you go about making a personal brand? Say, for example, you're a single mom, or you're an artist, or you're somebody who's quit their 9 to 5 and are starting a business endeavor. Whatever it is, stick to the story of your heart, because that is where all the intensity, all the authenticity comes from. Stick to the story of your why me. Stick to the same story. Just outline it. Now you're not going to have a problem outlining it, because you have a lot of distance from the problem. There's not going to be much coming in your way. Now start outlining that problem. The same problem that you face. Start outlining it. Say you're having complete confidence issues, or complete lack of abundance, or complete lack of satisfaction. Start by outlining it. That is going to be your call for action. Those are going to be all the people who are going to be so-called attracted to your initial endeavors, because they seem to resonate with the problem that you once had, and they are able to see that, or at least feel, or at least get a vibe of the fact that somehow you don't seem to have that problem anymore, or somehow you're kind of over it, and you seem to maybe have the solution for it as well. So that is going to be the grasp of your branding. That is going to be the heart of your branding. The problem that once was, the one that you're very far away from now, is going to be your personal brand. Because those are all the people you're going to be attracting. So build off of that. That is your commodity now. That is your product. That is more than even the product. That's the need that you're serving. That is the problem that you're solving in the society. Now, do you see how it's sounding more and more entrepreneurial, more and more business-like? You are solving a problem by having a commodity. Now, this commodity or product of yours is your experience through your journey. That is what you're going to be sharing. So now what you're sharing itself is a product. What you're sharing itself is the solution. What you're sharing itself is the antidote to the virus that a lot of people are suffering with, that you once suffered with as well. So now the antidote is your product, the whole journey is your business, and you being aware of all of this makes you the entrepreneur within this journey. So once again, to reiterate, because it is a little bit confusing, it might be that the problem that you once had, of which you were the victim, as we said, lack of confidence. See, that is the thing. Now, there are going to be tens of thousands of people who have this. That is the first thing you propagate out. You start by propagating your story of lack of confidence. It immediately catches eyeballs of all the ones who have it, or the vibrations of all of those who have it as well. Now, once you have addressed the problem, that is your so-called, what do you put it, your market research and your feedback from the market, that these are all the people who have this. Now, how do I start shining my rays here? Now, all I need to do is just follow the journey of what took me from my lower state to my higher state and back to my lower state again. I just have to keep doing the same thing. I just have to keep talking about my journey. Now, the more and more information that you impart in terms of your journey, the more and more information that you impart, and the more and more wisdom and experiences that you share about your journey, it is slowly acting as like software version 1, like software version 2, software version 3. It's slowly acting as updates into all the people who have bought your software to execute the exact same actions that you have executed. Now, every installment of your imparting, of your journey, of your story, of your personal brand is acting like a version upgrade, is acting like an upgradation of the product that your audience has signed up for. So is this starting to make some entrepreneurial sense? Now, once you start receiving the feedback from the external situation, from those who are a part of your your circle, is when you can slowly even start to kind of let go of this strict idea of self, because now slowly you can start to just be friends with the ones who are in your circle, and slowly just start being human to whoever's in your circle. And all this higher wisdom that you've gained by going through your problem, all this amazing experiences that you've had, can just be shared in an extremely humble, business-like manner, where you are the entrepreneur, you are selling a product that is yourself, your experience, and your so-called clients, your clan, your fans, your followers, the people who are your customers. You're going to have an extremely fulfilling, satisfying, and amazing relationship with them, because it's going to be a give and take which has a lot of spirit in it. It is going to be a give and take which has a lot of light in it. So there's going to be little to no conflict in terms of hoarding, in terms of wanting more, or in terms of cheating, in terms of all of these kinds of gravity pulling activities. So this is the point at which you can pretty much look at yourself, your higher self, as the entrepreneur, and the act that you do on earth. It could just be anything, as being God's work, as being the work of your higher self, as being service to your external immediate society, and as being full of abundance, because it's bound to be. You're trading light now. People have just come from the dark. Apart from it being extremely abundant, it's also extremely satisfying. Because what better joy is there than giving light to those who are coming from darkness? Right? So that, my friends, is what I wanted to share with all of you in regards to the transformation of victimhood, or why me, into a holy pursuit, the transformation of victimhood into an act of benevolence, the transformation of why me into why not me, the transformation of why me in a scarce and petty light into one filled with abundance and joy and the doors to infinity. So on that note, I would love to leave you all, and I hope you all stay blessed, you all stay full of light, you all find what you're here for, find what you're deeply desiring, and wish you all an amazing day.